to Shabazz.University. I am Mother Amunet-Shabazz, Director and Instructor with Shabazz.University, and we are excited to have you join us to become familiarized with our institution, and we have opened up for comments and questions on the YouTube forum, as well as in our review section of our website down below. There is a lower link where you can also leave your comments about today's orientation. And we ask that you please take this time to follow our instructions very carefully. On Shabazz.University, the live broadcast, there is at the bottom of the screen, you should be able to see a link to our PowerPoint presentation. And we ask that you click on that and follow along with what we will be discussing today with you. First, we want to welcome you, first and foremost, to Shabazz.University online. And we're going to just orientate you with our mission and our purpose and our goals for creating this institution. First and foremost, we call it, the formal name would be the Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz Institute of Higher Learning. And basically, our vision is to inform, empower, enlighten, and equip e-learners from all walks of life on a broad variety of different subjects and topics. And this is going to enable basically people to make an impact on your community, empower you to change and be change agents, all right, who are dedicated to the liberation of African people around the world. Our mission statement is basically educating and empowering students for revolutionary intellectual transformation that translates students from consumers of information to warriors for liberation. So that is the goal and the aim of what we are doing here. A lot of people have no vision, but they basically have a mission, but they don't know how to execute it. Some people have a mission, but no vision. So we want to have our vision in place and clarify that for the people as well as the mission. And moving right along, I want to discuss with you and give you a little bit of background for those who are not familiar with our founder. And our founder is the great and honorable Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz, who is an African warrior attorney and former national chairman of the National New Black Panther Party, the notorious New Black Panther Party. And as of 2013, he is the current national president of Black Lawyers for Justice. Dr. Shabazz basically now has spearheaded and is the founder of Shabazz.University online. So we have a notorious, well-known, fearless warrior who is tried and true and has stood the test of time, along with him beginning his soldier efforts in the streets and in the political arena, in the criminal justice arena with Dr. Khalid Muhammad. And we pay homage to Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and we're thankful for the training and the mentoring that he has provided to Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz, our founder of Shabazz.University online. Now, just to discuss a little bit about what we do. Our goal basically is to restructure the educational approach for African people. And with this new approach, it's mandatory to understand that the mission of our education should be to educate the whole person, the entire person. So, you know, a lot of times in European institutions and traditional institutions, we get educated in sections. You get educated in mathematics. You get educated in science. You get educated in one particular arena. Even if you go off to higher institutions of higher education and you go to med school, they train you to be a doctor for the mouth. They train you to be a doctor for the eyes. They train you to be an audiologist, an ophthalmologist. They train you to be an ear, nose, and throat doctor. They train you to be a doctor that works with digestive issues and not focusing on the entire person, the whole person. And we want to take a holistic approach to education, that we will basically teach you different subject areas, but we also want to pull that together and address it and put it in totality and in complete forums. So it addresses you as a person. It addresses the whole you, not just part of you or who you think you are, but we look at the whole person. And this addresses the political, the economic, the cultural, and the spiritual needs of a person in totality. So that's an important thing for us. Now, we ask the question, well, why Shabazz University? Why Shabazz University? Why are we doing Shabazz University? We're going to tell you why. We basically offer a unique delivery. We are unique in our delivery. And as an online Pan-African centered university, what we're going to do is we're going to provide education for all levels of education, from K through 12 to post-secondary adult learners. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to request the topics that you're interested in. Okay, we're going to research them. And if there's a popular demand that arises from the consensus that we draw from people that are listening, and there's a demand on a subject area as it relates to our people and as it relates to the curriculum and the design and the plan for the university, then what we're going to do is we're going to teach on that course. So you, the people, speak up for what you want in terms of your education curriculum, and we're going to design our own programs where we do that with the feedback of the people. All right, we're not just going to dictate to you what you should learn. Of course, there'll be guidelines and policies in place. It's not going to be a wow free-for-all, but at the same time, you will have the ability to determine what it is that you want. And what we'll bring to you, Shabazz.University has Pan-African Studies, and we're going to be a vanguard. We're a grassroots organization that will be the most unique model of online education in the world. That is the plan. And we're going to offer topics which include introduction to computer literacy, African liberation theology, holistic health, religious studies, metaphysics, GED preparation, the art of numbers, stress elimination, meditation, including that. Business finance courses, the etymology of words, because we got to know what words mean in this society and in this system, because a lot of times when you go into the criminal justice system, young brothers and sisters may have to face certain circumstances and people use a whole bunch of words that they can't understand, and we're going to teach you how to break down words of this English language, which isn't ours naturally anyway in the first place. We're going to have definitely criminal justice. The criminal justice piece must be at the forefront as well. That is the heartbeat of our founder. So we will be talking about legal studies and criminal justice from an African-centered perspective. We're going to deal with creative writing, hip hop, things that the young people love. And of course, we will introduce some African languages and much, much more as time goes by. So those are just some of the things that we have on deck in our plans. You also, okay, have the ability and the right to request your lectures. A lot of times you go to an institution and you don't have that right. Sometimes they may allow you to go in and say, well, we have this instructor here, or I like this person got a good reputation. I think I'll take them, but that is based on availability of that particular instructor. So here, you know, we ask, who are your favorite lecturers? We want some feedback. We want to know that in an ideal situation, if you could have a lecturer, who would you want? Who would you want to see? Who would it be? Would it be Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Phil Valentine, Wesley Muhammad? People of that caliber and stature. So for future lectures, we take heed to what our students want, okay? And if we get enough people to request a lecture, we can do everything in our power to bring them to you at Shabazz.University online. So that's another unique feature of our university. And moving right along to slide number 9, we're going to talk about African liberation. And I'm reminded of a quote from a very good book that I recommend that all read. If you're interested in education and you're interested in basically how education can be used as a tool of oppression or a tool of liberation, there's a great book, and it's a classic book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire. And I had to read that book in undergrad, and it was a fabulous book. I highly recommend it. You can see it here on the PowerPoint presentation if you're looking and you're following along. Pedagogy of the Oppressed by the revolutionary Paulo Freire. And he says in a quote from the book, he says, one cannot expect positive results from education or political action program which fails. I was stating before, it's important that we know what our purpose is as a people. Too many of our people are walking around aimlessly with absolutely no purpose, no hope, no destiny, no determination, no destination, and therefore we're lost as a people, walking around blind, deaf, and dumb. And this has a lot to do with the state of ignorance that we're in. We are fools because we lack knowledge. and we lack the wisdom that goes along with that knowledge, and we perish. We perish for lack of knowledge. That is a known fact. So when you don't have any destiny and you don't have a vision, you're going to perish for lack of knowledge. Next, myself, Mother Amunet-Shabazz. Basically, I'm an educator, ordained ecumenical minister, basically, which means that I embrace all faiths, that all faiths are included in terms of who I deal with and who I work with. There's no bias, there's no prejudice, no matter what your spiritual system may be. I'm a certified educational counselor. Yes, there's a musical piece. I am an activist. I have a BA in psychology, master's in counseling, and currently working on my doctorate. I don't like to talk about myself, so I saved that for last. Yes, I am a native New Yorker, taught in the public school system in Georgia, did my training at John Jay College for counseling, and certified educator in 2 states, Georgia and the state of Florida. Basically, I've been an activist for a very long time. Just a little bit about me. Don't like to talk about me too much, but have participated in a variety of community events. Have fought for the Dr. Amunet-Shabazz in the late 1990s during the convening of the Million Youth March in 1998. And of us, we have a variety of different resources. You can reach us on Facebook. Those of us that have joined us today know how to reach us on Facebook with any questions or concerns that you have. And we're going to build this and take this to the next level. This is going to be, and it looks like I just got a message live, and we are live. Got a message live from the boss man that wants me to actually talk with you a little bit longer. Which we can do that. And I was also made aware that I had fell out of stream for a minute. So what I can do is backtrack a little bit. If I did fall out of stream, and if I did fall out of broadcast, I can backtrack a little bit, and I will go back to where it looks like we left off. I believe I was talking about when the glitch had taken place. We were talking about how you can request your lecturers. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that you have the right to make that request. You have the right to request your lecturers in terms of who you would like to see, in terms of who you would like to be taught by. We're talking about Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Leonard Jeffries, and Phil Valentine, and Dr. Wesley Muhammad, as well as some options. So those are just some of the names that come up. And we, Aline Bay, we've got some great teachers as well. Before, and I'll backtrack a little bit, just a little bit more. Revolutionary wisdom. One cannot expect positive results from an educational or political action program which fails to respect a particular view of the world held by the people. So what that means basically is having an educational institutional facility or course that basically respects our worldview. And oftentimes when you go into traditional settings, you know for sure that our worldview is not respected as a people. As African people, our view is never respected. Other views have always been enforced and imposed upon us as a people. So basically, we have to endure cultural invasion when we want to be taught. We have to be reprogrammed when we want to be taught. So the focus here is to get us to a place of a natural place of learning, where you want to learn, where it's important that you learn about who you are from your perspective, from people that look like you, that have information that is your information, that is about you, that is for you and by you. Again, I can take you into the Shabazz Library online, which has been created, and it's been fabulously created by our brother Marquez. He likes to be called Black Jesus, which is precious, but he has done wondrous works with our online library. And over time, we're going to expand that library and give you a wider variety of materials. And again, you as the user will have the opportunity to request the titles that you would like to see online and would like to have further instruction seminars on. Back to our slide that talks about Brother Huey Newton, Dr. Huey P. Newton. And a lot of people don't know that Dr. Huey P. Newton actually went on to get his PhD in the late 70s and early 80s. And he did so in sociology. And this was a big feat for him because if you remember, if you're familiarized with any type of Panther history, you know that Huey P. Newton struggled with literacy, that he was not literate. He could not read very well, but he got through with all of his brilliance. He was able to get through and maneuver and create the new Black Panther Party along with Bobby Seale. So just because you have a learning disability, and our children oftentimes have learning disabilities, some that go undiagnosed, and a lot of the times our children are overdiagnosed. They are labeled. They are constantly pigeonholed. Our boys are overrepresented in special education settings. This is not by accident. This is by design. So what are we going to do about it? Are we going to continue to let it occur? What steps are we taking to make the changes so that our boys are not marginalized constantly and told that they're stupid? And this comes from phonology and the belief by the eugenists that we are intellectually inferior as a people. This has always been taught. This has always been the mindset. No matter where you go, no matter how many degrees you get, you will still be perceived as being intellectually inferior. And if you've gotten multiple degrees and you've proven that you are highly intellectual, you must have gotten it through affirmative action. You couldn't have possibly have gotten it on your own merit and intellect. Something is wrong here. So constantly our intellect is being challenged as a people. They don't think that we're smart, straight up. And if you're not seen as smart in this society, you're not going to be respected. And we have never been respected because they think that we're stupid as a people. So this is our time to build and acquire all the information and knowledge that is out there that we can possibly take in. I explained who I was. I explained some of my background. Basically, I'm an educator. I'm certified, ordained minister, ecumenical minister, not traditional, meaning I take in various belief systems and work with people with various different belief systems and spiritual systems. I'm a certified educator, counselor. I also have a bachelor's in psychology, master of education in counseling, and working on the doctorate in psychological counseling. Native New Yorker, that's who I am. I've worked in the public school systems in Georgia, was trained in my internship at John Jay College in New York City in counseling and academic advising, and certified as an educator in both Georgia and Florida. So basically, how did I get involved in this? It's a long story. Basically, I've been an activist for many years, took to the streets in 1997 when I was old enough to do so. Met Dr. Shabazz in Brooklyn, New York, when we were organizing for the Million Youth March back in 1998. And the rest is history. We lost touch for a little while and then reconnected on the internet. And I'm always glad to work with Dr. Shabazz any opportunity given. And he has given me this opportunity to work with him. And I'm delighted and honored to be able to do so and help to spearhead this project. So basically, I just want to tell you a little bit about the importance of Black education in conclusion. Basically, when you control a man's thinking, and this is what Carter G. Woodson said, from the author of The Miseducation of the Negro. Carter G. Woodson said, when you control a man's thinking, you don't have to worry about his actions. And oftentimes, in the educational system and the institutions that we have, they were designed ultimately, education was designed ultimately to control. And we know that. But it was designed for socialization purposes, to babysit children and to socialize and control them to conform to society's standards in terms of what's required. So basically, you are taught from preschool to 12th grade how to conform to this system, how to be controlled, and how to conform to the white man's institution and the white man's way of thinking and being and living and doing. And we get rewarded for how well we conform by degrees, by graduation certificates, and by diplomas. That is your reward for how well you were able to conform to the system and the classroom expectations. So, our spearheading this project basically is to take people out of that box. This is a non-conformist. When you're revolutionary, you cannot be a conformist. The two just don't match. So if this is a revolutionary institution, which we're building, you are not being trained to conform. That's why you have the power to select the type of courses and the type of topics that you're interested in. We want to hear the feedback from you. We want to hear clearly what you're interested in so that we can then go forth and spearhead and make changes to education as we know it and revolutionize education as we know it. Malcolm X said only a fool would let his enemy teach his children. And that's the truth. And we constantly do it. We've been doing it for the past 500 years. We want to talk about Brown versus Plessy, Brown versus Board of Education, going all the way back. We fought to have integrated schools. We fought to have integrated institutions where we could have equal education along with our white counterparts. And schools are still highly segregated, even in urban areas, for our children. This is a fact. Nothing has changed. The more that we come in, the more that they move out. And just because it's white, we assume that an institution is better. So a lot of us that move to the suburbs often bus our children to white schools because we think those institutions are better. And unfortunately, sometimes they are better in terms of the standard and quality of education that is delivered, in terms of having the latest technology, the latest textbooks, and we in urban areas get left behind with lesser and inferior and education that is not equal. So what do we have? So it's time that we create an institution of our very, very own. Many people are trying to do it now. Many people. We look around and we see many different educational institutions and many different people that are spearheading African-centered educational curriculum. But we need something different. We need something new. And that's why we're doing what we do here at Shabazz University. And what I'm going to do is bring it over and turn it over to Dr. Malik Zulu-Shabazz, and he is going to continue with the mission, his vision, and his purpose and intent for this particular institution. He will also tie in the Justice or Else March with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and how that ties in with his goal and his plan for this particular institution. Because we must get justice, we must get fairness, we must get equality, and that doesn't look like it's happening. So therefore, or else, we have to take it and create what we want and create what we need for ourselves instead of being dependent on a system that has failed us as a people over and over and over and over again. Or else we take what's ours, we build what's ours, and we create what's ours for us, by us. I want to thank you for tuning in. And we look forward to working with you. And we will be returning in October with our classes. And we will have a full list of the instructors that will be teaching as well as the subjects. Peace and blessings, and have a wonderful day.